We are here with Late Night Tough Guy, aka HMC, the Aussie legend known as Cam Bianchetti.
That's
Have I
right.
got the surname
Perfect.
right? Yeah?
You got it right.
Mate, thank you so much for coming and joining us with On the Line and DJ Insider.
Thank you.
We've got so much to chat about today, and I think one of the most favourite topics at the moment is your set from Rainbow Serpent, which was only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that and how it was for you?
Um, it was. I get nervous every time I go to play, and for some reason, I'd heard a lot about Rainbow Serpent, and I was really, really nervous that weekend. But because I wanted to play really well, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people hadn't heard me play as HMC for a long time. And I can't even describe how amazing it felt. And the vibe, from out in the dance floor was just incredible. And then the following day, as Late Night Tough Guy, you know, I'm still today receiving messages from people saying that they'd never ever seen a vibe like that at Rainbow Serpent. That's pretty amazing stuff right there.
It is, and I can vouch for that because I was in the crowd and it was really amazing. Both times for me,
Yeah,
HMC, I think you started with a Kenny Larkin remix, I think it was.
yep,
And it just,
yep.
I remember looking around and just seeing the sea of people going nuts. And the same again when you dropped
Yeah,
your I Get Deeper track the following
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Crazy vibes.
It's always a good moment. I like playing. I've been doing that for a long time now, playing that track. But I like playing the edit of the in the beginning track because it really builds to
Yes,
something. Yeah,
it does, it really
um,
works.
yeah, it does really work, and I love doing it.
And this is a question. I'm going to go into this. It's from Brian McCoy. Who do you prefer to play under, Late Night Tough Guy or HMC?
Um,
Or do you have a preference?
no, I don't because they're both very different, and I enjoy them equally. Um, if I had to choose one, I'd probably say HMC because it goes back to a long many years ago, and so it really is, I guess, kind of the essence of who I am. But I love Late Night Tough Guy.
Where would your first musical influences came around that era?
Um, I I love, and to this day, I love the productions by Carl Craig. I think he's absolutely one of the very best. Um, I think my first major influence back in the day was Kevin Saunderson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing producer. And also going back, people like Giorgio Moroder and Kraftwerk.
Yes, a lot of
Yeah.
people do mention Kraftwerk. They were
Yeah.
definitely inspired a lot of people.
I got given two Kraftwerk albums. I remember it was 1981 by a friend of mine who gave me the Computer World album and the Man Machine album. And I remember listening to those records and thinking, I want to do this.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think would you like to play at Rainbow Serpent again?
Oh, of course I would.
Yeah,
God, I
it
think
goes
anybody,
without saying. Like,
yeah, I think anybody would want to do that. It's a great festival. I think it's up there with the world's best.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was my first time attending, as quite a few people that were with me, and we were all just like gobsmacked about how good it was and just
yeah,
the
yeah.
performance and the DJs. Had you attended it before? Or,
No, that was my first time as well.
jeez,
So, and I was really, I shouldn't be surprised, but I really liked the way everyone was really friendly. There was a really beautiful, warm vibe there from all the people, which is something that you don't really get to see a great deal of at some other festivals. So it was really good to see.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So you started off playing as HMC, back in the day,
Hmm.
and you done that for quite a few years. At what point did you feel that you wanted to start the Late Night Tough Guy project?
Um, I I guess I stopped DJing around 2001 because I'd gotten a little bit tired and a little bit fed up with a whole lot of things and maybe a little bit burnt out as well. Um, and then maybe a year and a half after that, someone asked me to go and play in a club, do a night, because I hadn't played for a long time, obviously. And the night went off really well, and I played different to what I would have played, the couple of years prior to that. I incorporate a lot more funk and disco into the house and techno. So things sort of gradually started to change, and I remember sometime in 2006, my brother had given me Ableton. I'd bought a laptop and he'd given me Ableton, and I started doing edits because I wanted to mix this stuff alongside the house and techno that I was playing, and that's pretty much how that started.
And that was it. Away from there, it's been a great success since, and more so recently, you've been playing a lot in Europe.
Yes.
How do you find the scene in Europe compared to Australia?
I always get that question, and it's a good question. I think the main difference, obviously, is the size. So there's Australia is a small population, and I think, especially in the UK, I love DJing in the UK. The crowds that come out are really, really enthusiastic and seem to really know their music, whether it's new stuff or whether it's old stuff or whether it's an edit. People really know their stuff, especially when I'm DJing in a place in Dublin or in Glasgow. They really know their shit.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think definitely here in Australia too.
Yes, to a certain extent, definitely, yeah.
Look, I'm going to go back to HMC here because there's something I've been dying to know. I've heard this story, and it's about a time where you had a bit of a superstar audience at one of your gigs in Adelaide. I think it goes along the lines of, it was Luciano, Ricardo Villalobos, and Optimo were touring after a gig and hadn't realised that you were from Adelaide and had ended up with the opportunity to go and see you. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, well, I definitely, I have a vague memory, but I definitely remember Luciano's. Then we spoke for a while, and he was telling me how much he loved a particular HMC record, which is the Dirty Acid Tracks record that came out on Dirty Acid Tracks was the label.
Brilliant.
And it was track 3, so the second track on the B side, so the 3 tracks on the record. And he loved that record, loved playing it. And we spoke about him remixing it and things like this, but it still hasn't come. But I'm hoping that it will happen.
Well, there we go. It's out in the open now.
Yep.
I've got another question which I'll go into that, and that's from Mike Callender.
Yep.
And it's the understanding is that back in the day, and this may be why the guys hadn't had the opportunity to see you, is because you might have had a fear of flying back then, and you didn't go overseas as much to tour. Is that right?
Around 1999, I stopped flying.
Right.
And the very last gig I had overseas was in Glasgow, actually. I got home and I just was just completely over it. Like I couldn't get on a plane. It scared the shit out of me. And I still have that fear now. What I tell people now is that the desire to go out there and play is a lot stronger than the fear of flying.
Yes, that is well put.
And we shouldn't let those sorts of fears, really ridiculous. We shouldn't let those fears control your life and keep you from doing what you love.
Yeah, and because we need to keep seeing you. That's going to bring us right to what's happening now and the rest of the year. I believe there was some exciting news posted up today about the Pure Festival.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. Carl Cox is his Pure Festival, so I'm really excited that I've been asked to play, and I can't wait for that. Yeah, playing along some pretty good names there.
Yes, some big names. I think Joseph Caparati and Format B's on the list. And that's 2. It's both in Sydney and Melbourne.
And Melbourne, that's right.
And do you have anything else coming up anytime soon?
There's a new EP coming out on Reflector, which is the label that I release music, my HMC music. And there's I am in the works, working at getting a Late Night Tough Guy album out.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so it's going to be like an originals album, more of it's not really disco, it's not really house, and it's not really techno. It's kind of like a mash of it all. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping to have it out, in a few months.
Brilliant. And as we touched on at the start of the interview, the I Get Deeper track, which was re-edited once again by Emmanuel Zatti and reached number one in the Beatport overall. So well done to that.
The track that keeps giving.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So how was it? 6 years around that time or longer? How old is that track? Or that edit, should I say?
Well, I released my own bootleg with a friend of mine back in 2007, but I remember doing the first time I did it was in 2001, which is I used to play the loop, which is off a Richie Hawtin record,
right?
And just play the a cappella over the top. I started doing that in 2001, so it's been a long, long time.
Geez, that is unbelievable. It really does keep giving. And so how did it go from then to Emmanuel Zatti doing the rework on it?
Well, the track was licensed to what's the German label that it's in? I really don't remember. No.
Oh, well, who cares? Who cares? People are dancing to it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's back out there. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Are there any Australian DJs or producers you would love to see us interview?
God, there's a whole heap of talent, young, new talent. I really can't think of a name right now. There's lots of old school DJs. Like I love Stephen Alkins, who's in Sydney, and I'd love to hear what he has to say. He's been DJing probably the same amount of time that I have been, so I'd love to hear some words from him.
Brilliant. Yeah, was there DJs back then, like in Australia, who you were inspired from?
From when I started playing? There were quite a few DJs in Melbourne. Oh God, I'm trying to think of the names now. There were so many of them. You've put me on the spot here. You really have.
Oh, that's good. We like to do that.
Oh, Jesus. Honestly, yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a question here, and I think a lot of people want to know this one. And this comes from James Winter. It says, "Are you really a late night tough guy or just a big softie?"
I'm a big softie.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not tough at all.
Just leave that to the music, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, I think that's us. We thanks again for coming in, for being here with us on the line with DJ Insider. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, and we look forward to seeing you out there soon.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.